Welcome in, everybody, to another deep dive. Today we have a really eerie mystery to explore. It's one of those cases that just sticks with you. And, we've got a stack of reports and articles, forum posts even.
Oh, wow.
It's the Dupont de Ligonnès case. Have you heard of this one?
I have. It's one of those cases that's just full of twists and turns. You think you're getting close to the truth, and then something new pops up and throws everything off.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to France, 2011. The Dupont de Ligonnès family vanishes. Seemingly ordinary life just gone. And we're going to try to figure out what happened. So to set the scene, a little bit about the family. Xavier Dupont de Ligonnès, he's the father. Agnes is the mother. And they have 4 children, Arthur, Thomas, Anne, and Benoit. What can you tell us about them? Like, what were their lives like before all of this?
From the outside, they look like a pretty typical family. Kids in school, parents involved in the community, active in their church, just going about their daily lives. But when you start digging deeper, you start to see some cracks in that facade, especially when you look at Xavier's behavior in the months leading up to the disappearance.
Yeah, I was looking at the timeline here, and there are some really strange things that happened in March of 2011. Like, Xavier's at a shooting range practicing,
Right.
and then he goes on this unexplained trip to a DIY store hundreds of miles away.
Hundreds of miles.
Yeah, why would he do that?
And then you have these online posts he's making about sacrifice. It's like he's dropping these little hints, but we don't know what they mean yet.
It's almost as if he was setting the stage for something sinister.
Yeah, and you can't help but wonder if those seemingly insignificant actions were actually part of a much larger, much darker plan.
And then things get even weirder in April. They start canceling plans, the house is empty. Neighbors give conflicting accounts of seeing Agnes. What's going on here?
It's like the pieces on a chessboard are being moved into position, but we don't know the end game yet.
And then the worst possible discovery. The bodies of Agnes and all 4 children are found buried beneath the patio. They were drugged and shot.
Yeah, the level of premeditation involved is just chilling. It's clear that this wasn't a random act of violence. This was planned.
And then Xavier vanishes. His car is found abandoned at a hotel, almost like he wanted it to be found. Was this a carefully planned escape? Or was he trying to throw everyone off his scent?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The official investigation quickly focused on Xavier as the prime suspect. But there are some people who believe he's innocent. They point to inconsistencies in the evidence and alternative theories.
Like Xavier's family. They've been very vocal about their belief that he could never harm his own children.
It's understandable that they would want to believe that, but the evidence against him is pretty damning.
I know. It's hard to reconcile those two things. The loving father figure and the potential perpetrator of such a horrific crime.
It's a real head-scratcher. And then you have the emigration theory. Some people think the family wasn't murdered, but was forced into hiding, maybe under a witness protection program.
Right, and there's that email Xavier sent a few months before everything happened. He mentioned something about accidents that might befall his family.
It's almost like he was trying to warn someone. Or maybe he was trying to lay the groundwork for a cover story.
I guess we'll never know for sure unless he's found.
Exactly.
But there's also the question of how he could have done all of this alone. Could he really have buried 5 bodies under the patio, especially with his back problems?
That's a good point. It would have been incredibly difficult, physically demanding. It's possible he had help, which raises the question of a conspiracy.
Right, so we have the official investigation that points to Xavier, but then we have these alternative theories and inconsistencies that muddy the waters. It's like a puzzle with missing pieces.
And then you factor in the public's fascination with this case. You have all these people online trying to solve the mystery themselves, combing through digital footprints and forum posts.
It's like a real-life true crime obsession. And it makes you wonder, why are we so drawn to these dark mysteries? What is it about the unknown that captivates us?
I think it's the human need to make sense of the senseless. We want to believe that there's a logical explanation for everything, but sometimes there just isn't.
Maybe that's what makes this case so unsettling. The idea that sometimes the truth is more complex and more disturbing than we can ever imagine.
And that sometimes the monsters are closer than we think. And it's interesting, Xavier's background, he comes from like an aristocratic family, but his own professional life was kind of mixed bag,
Yeah, he had all these different ventures, but nothing really stuck. It's like he was searching for something, but never quite finding it.
Right, and one of the businesses he started was this company called Celaref, but there's hardly any information about it. Like, it was this phantom company.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about that. It was like he was trying to project an image of success that maybe wasn't there.
And then you have that letter he supposedly sent to his family after he disappeared.
Oh, you mean the one where he claims to be working with the DEA?
Yeah, like something out of a spy movie. right?
Talk about a wild story. No evidence to back it up, but still it makes you wonder.
Could it be a distraction? A way to lead investigators down the wrong path?
And if you go back and look at his movements in those last few days, it just adds to the mystery. That road trip he took hundreds of miles to that DIY store, loading up his car with these bags. We still don't know what was in those bags.
You have no specific items he bought, like the lime.
Yeah, like he was leaving clues, but they don't lead to any clear answers.
And the inconsistencies, right? Like those conflicting accounts about Agnes. Some people say they saw her alive after the date the police believe she was murdered.
Maybe the timeline is off. Or maybe these witnesses are just mistaken. It's hard to know for sure.
And let's not forget the physical challenge of burying 5 bodies. Could he really have done that by himself? Especially with his back problems.
It seems almost impossible, doesn't it? Makes you think maybe there was someone else involved.
A conspiracy?
Possibly. And then there are those online posts, the ones about sacrifice. What was he trying to say there? Was it just philosophical or something more sinister?
It's a psychological rabbit hole, isn't it?
Yeah.
And his involvement in that Catholic forum adds another layer.
Yeah, a place where he might have sought solace or even justification for his actions. It's a chilling thought. It's hard to believe we've come to the end of our deep dive into the Dupont de Ligonnès case. And it's a case that leaves you with so many more questions than answers.
It really is. You know, we've looked at the timeline, the evidence, the theories, and yet we still don't have a clear picture of what happened.
It's like looking through a fogged-up window. You can see the outlines, but the details are blurry and indistinct.
And the fact that this was such an ordinary family makes it even more unsettling. It could have been any of us.
Exactly. It challenges our sense of security. Makes you wonder what secrets are lurking beneath the surface of everyday life.
It's a reminder that we can never truly know what's going on in someone else's mind.
So where is Xavier now? Is he still alive? Hiding somewhere under a new identity?
Or did he choose a different ending? One that would keep the mystery alive forever?
The not knowing is almost as unsettling as the crime itself.
It fuels the speculation, keeps people searching for answers years later.
But maybe some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved.
Maybe the truth is too complex, too disturbing for us to comprehend.
This deep dive has been a journey into the heart of darkness. A reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places.
And that sometimes the most ordinary families can harbor the darkest secrets.
We're going to leave you with that chilling thought for today. But the conversation doesn't have to end here. What are your theories? What questions are still swirling in your mind? Let us know.
We may never have all the answers, but we can keep searching, keep questioning, and keep the memory of the Dupont de Ligonnès family alive.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a mystery that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Until then, stay curious and stay safe.